Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a butterfly pyramid tornado funnel chart using R and ggplot2. I'm using Jupyter Lab with an R kernel with version 4.3, but the R code should also work just as well in, for example, RStudio. These are the kind of charts that we're interested in, so any of these, depending on the order, they might be called a pyramid chart or tornado chart. To show you how this can be done, I already actually loaded this part, some general social survey data from 2012, adjusted for some example purposes. I'm going to be using the marital status and the gender as my two fields, and since with gender only two options were chosen, I can create a one of these charts because you need only two categories in one of the two variables. In a separate video I'll show how you can quickly even do this with my own library, which simply has a function for this, but otherwise you can use ggplot. For that I'm first going to make a cross table of that selected data, and then I'm going to of course install my ggplot2 or load it. If you've never used it, you might have to install it first. It actually wants a data frame, so I'm going to convert this table into a data frame, and that simply actually gives all possible combinations and the counts. The basic ID now is the AES, the aesthetic mapping, and is used in the other parts that we're going to be seeing. The essence is it sets the data to be used, and in the example we have this mixed number of activities and we want to split it over the gender. The trick is now to set the count for one of the two categories actually to negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually make them negative if the test equals var2. Actually, if var2 equals row names, the table, and then if it's a yes, the first one, so if that's a yes, then it's going to make it negative, and if it's not, then it's just going to use the normal frequency. Since we now have counted the y values ourselves, we set the stat to identity in the geom bar, and with all those settings, so this was the big one to actually get the negatives in, and we should be able to get now our first basic chart ready. So as you can see, it now puts them back to back. However, you can see that these counts are now negative, so we want to actually change that in the visualization. And I might actually want them to be the same width. In this case, this one goes, they're actually already quite close. This one goes up to 500, this one as well, so that's actually okay, but for others it might not be. So in this case I want to perhaps round it to a nice multiple of 5, and then I'm going to reset that y scale, and that's where I'm using here scale y is continuous. I'm going to set the limits, and also importantly the values are going to be the absolute values of those. So now all the scores should be, it's both going up to 550 now, and as you can see they're both going as positive. The y-axis now shows positive counts only. We can rotate the whole thing by flipping the coordinate system, so simply say coordinate flip, so then it looks like this. And we might actually want to adjust the labels a little bit as well, so the X labels and the Y labels, and perhaps a full title for the legenda. So now we have our basic butterfly chart. If you want it to really be a pyramid or tornado, then we need to look into the order. And for that we actually need to start by adding the column totals and the row totals especially for each in the cross table. And then we actually want these categories to be sorted based on these row totals. So we can do that in one way. If we now it going from low to high, so ascending. If we want it to be descending, then we set simply decreasing to true, and then it will do the same thing, but now starting with the highest one to the lowest one. Note it also actually is then sorting the sum of each column and puts that one, of course, on top. So we actually want to have all of the fields except the last column and the first row if we sort it decreasing true. Otherwise, we don't want the last row. So that's what's optional here. So, and if we do it the other way around, then we get these. And then we can use this table, convert it to a data frame, and repeat all the steps from before to get the chart. Alright, I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.